Good morning. What I want to talk to you about is living what we call truly human leadership, inspiring well-being in a caring culture. Our jobs, our companies, the very companies that sent you here today to address the issue of rising healthcare costs, well-being, are the cause of the rising cost of healthcare. 70% of deaths are from chronic disease, and 75% are from lifestyle-related issues. 74% have unmanageable stress, and the number one cause is their job. Okay? 25% of the people hate their job. Jobs are making us unhealthy. 3 out of 4 people in this country, according to Gallup, don't like the company they work for and don't like their job. 7 out of 8, 88% of people, feel that they work for a company that does not care about them. That is about 130 million people go home at night feeling that they're part of an organization that doesn't care about them. So I would say to you, we have a crisis, and the crisis is not healthcare costs. The crisis is the absence of truly human leadership. And so the whole concept of truly human leadership is inspiring well-being by caring. What does truly human leadership mean? It means sending people home safe, healthy, and fulfilled. If we measure success by the way we touch the lives of people, what do we mean by safety? Do we mean workman's compensation costs? Number of lost days, number of days without lost time accidents? No. What the team came up with, which was transformative, was the following statement: we don't want our friends to get hurt. Not our employees, our friends to get hurt. And they embraced that new vision of safety, and guess what happened as a result? Workman's compensation costs went in half. Why? Not because we focused on workman's compensation costs, because we focused on caring about not wanting our friends to get hurt. That was a transformative event because we inspired safety instead of informed people of safe practices. We inspired people to care. But fulfillment, what do we mean by fulfillment? We want people to go home not happy, but fulfilled. To me, it's a deeper sense of meaning and purpose, that somebody actually cares about what I do and who I am. That is the single biggest thing we have found in truly human leadership. At every level in an organization, people want to know that who they are and what they do matters. And what are leaders? Leaders are people who are stewards of the lives entrusted to them. Until we see people in our organizations as somebody's precious child and treat them the way you would want your child treated, or the way you want to be treated, all these other things we're trying to do are like pouring water on a stone. We have to create caring organizations. So now let's go to well-being. Do you think people are inspired to embrace these wellness programs if it is about reducing cost? I don't think so. We now are trying to inspire people in a caring environment to be good stewards of their life and in the process care for others. Altruism means caring for others without expecting anything in return. That's the environment for well-being. Fulfillment fosters an environment of altruism. So the new vision for well-being in Barry Wendell, the old one was provide programs that incentivize participation. And our new vision for well-being is living well and thriving together. Wellness programs without inspiration cannot drive behavior change. So we need to move from information to inspiration. We can inform people all day long about being better consumers of health care with the hopes of reducing our costs. But until we inspire people in a caring culture, we will never reverse the health of this country. So my goal in sharing this message with you is to help you understand that the only way you're going to see the behavior change significantly, as we saw in safety, as we've seen in fulfillment, is when we inspire people in a caring environment. By listening to the people that work in your organizations, you empower them and validate their worth. When people start caring about each other in truly human leadership, the natural outcome is everything is better. The other thing that truly human leadership does is when I sit with groups of people around the world and say to them, how are we doing in terms of living truly human leadership? They say to us, my marriage has improved. They say to us, I now know how to raise my children. Mothers tell us, as a result of our guiding principle of leadership and being good stewards of lives entrusted to them, they now know how to raise their children. They've learned to listen to their children, listen to their husband, and care. So truly human leadership affects all impacts of your life. Every aspect of your life will be profoundly changed. Most people who experience it say it changes their life because they go home feeling good about themselves. And when they feel good about themselves, guess what? They treat others better when they feel good about themselves. So we're never going to deal with the crisis you all are trying to deal with in healthcare costs. We're never going to deal with our crisis of leadership until we get back and we get rid of the word management and cost, and we get into the word care. We care about the people under our influence, whether they're in our home, where we work, or we interact every day. That is the world as it should be. That is the natural state. Imagine the world that people you interfaced cared about you. Can you imagine that kind of world? The strife that we see in families, drug abuse, alcoholism, anger, conflict. American business is killing our country because it's about numbers, not about people. The ripple effect of leadership, every time you care, you validate caring. And when you validate caring, it spreads because it is the ripple effect of caring about each other is amazing. And when you look at the statistics, 22% who are engaged in their jobs and thriving in their lives, these are people who go home feeling fulfilled, healthy, and safe. 41% lower health-related costs than unappreciated employees. It's obvious how we can reduce healthcare costs. All we have to do is create caring cultures. 62% lower health-related costs than suffering employees. If 88% of the people in this country feel they work for a company that doesn't care about them, how are you ever going to change healthcare consumerism in that environment? You're not. You may have a good job. You got great job security the way we're doing it. Because there's always going to be a need for what you're doing, because we're just destroying the people, and we're always going to need you all to try and figure out how to fix it cheaper. Gallup did a survey of 155 countries for the source of happiness. And guess what they found? They thought it was going to be wealth, but it wasn't wealth because people make a certain level of income and they're happy. They thought it would be health. It wasn't health or wealth because people take their health for granted. The number one source of happiness in the world is a good job working with people that you care about. You have a chance when you leave here to go back understanding the real way to improve wellness in this country. We simply need to stop focusing on cost and focus on caring. What I want to ask you to do is to simply open your hearts and your minds to the potential of a world where we genuinely care about each other. There's an expression that says we paid people for their hands for years, and they would have given us their heads and their hearts for free if we had just known how to ask them. In truly human leadership, we respect their heads and their hearts. It's not about cost, it's about caring. Thank you.